honor to serve Cedarfield as a chaplain. Earlier today, in the clubhouse, we held a Lenten lunch program, which included a reflection from Pastor Noel Schoonmaker of Second Baptist Church. He spoke about the history of confession and why it is still an important part of spiritual life. Christians around the world are observing Lent right now. Muslims around the world are observing Ramadan. Jews around the world will soon be observing Passover. For all our differences, I'd rather focus on what we have in common. Introspection and self-awareness, an attempt to improve, are all vital pieces of Passover, Ramadan, and Lent. Whether we are Jewish, Muslim, Christian, or profess another or even no affiliation, introspection combined with embracing responsibility for our wrongdoings will serve us well. At times when we may feel otherwise powerless, it may help to know that small shifts and course corrections are available to us all at any time. Enjoy your meeting.
Good afternoon. Did anybody notice that it's 70 degrees outside? And tomorrow's going to be 80. I can't believe it's March, but I am very thankful. Speaking of thankful, who has some good news that they'd like to share with the group? Emily's wearing her walking shoes so that she can get around the room quickly because we know there's going to be a lot of good news.
This morning, we had the opportunity, my bride and I, to hold our 3-month-old great-grandson for the first time.
Wonderful.
I just got my new hearing aids, and all I have to do is push a button, and it takes me right up to your mic, and now I can understand what goes on in the screen.
That's excellent. Who else has some good news? How about the back section? Any good news in the back? How about my left side? Any good news here? Here's some good news.
We have a bufflehead on the pond today.
Well, I don't know. What was the word? A bucklehead?
This is a duck announcement. Today on the pond, we have a bufflehead. They're cute.
Maybe that could be our mascot.
I'll talk to the creative team, Amy. My good news, my very cute husband, who, if you all recall, is an actor in town, has a full-time marketing job, don't worry, but is also an actor on the side, and he has been cast as, well, I won't say it in a theater space, but as the Scottish king, and the show begins at the Dominion Energy Center downtown at the end of this month. My leading man.
With Grandma Pride, I have been showing this week 2 photographs of my granddaughter, Frances Fiske, who plays basketball for Trinity Episcopal School. In the Richmond Times-Dispatch last Wednesday, she was on page 1 and page 3 of the sports section, playing a basketball game and scoring 15 points for her team.
Woo.
Grandma Pride.
Any more good news? I will share a quick bit of good news for all the Yankee fans in the room. The Yankees are leading the Boston Red Sox 4-0 in the 8th inning. Keep your fingers crossed. Emily.
Good afternoon, everybody. Emily Adler, Director of Sales and Marketing. Hello. I'm very excited. We are going to start Town Hall now with the new commercial. So for any of you who have not seen it, we've been getting such wonderful feedback about it, and so we were really excited to be able to present it to you all today. So Lauren, Delonte, I don't know if you have lights too. Thank you, Delonte. Here's the new commercial. I love that commercial. It is something to be so, so proud of. I'm thrilled that we had such generous residents who agreed to be a part of the commercial and all of our new ad placements. So this is the beginning of the new chapter with our creative team that works that works in the Pinnacle Living office. But again, I just wanted to share that with you. I think it really does a great job of capturing just a piece of Cedar Field and can grab some folks' attention and get them in the door to learn more about all of the amazing things that this community has to offer. So I wanted to share that with you. I'm going to skip quickly. Well, I'm going to do our occupancy update. I'll talk about our marketing event, and then we're going to talk about this new internal transfer policy. So to start, our occupancy, as of right now, and this number will change as we have some folks who are transitioning to higher levels of care. Right now, we are at 99% reserved and occupied, and so that leaves us with we have 4 residences to sell. So I think we're probably closer to 98 from the last time I checked those numbers with the 4 vacancies that we have. But that is 2 one-bedrooms, 2 two-bedrooms, and 1 cottage that we are working through currently. We did welcome 3 new residents to Cedar Field in the month of February. We have Beverly Brown, who joined us in apartment 437, Gwen Kaplan, who joined us in apartment 160, and Richard Deemer, who is going to be moving to Richmond from South Carolina, and he has accepted apartment 312, but he'll be joining us, I believe, on Monday, moving in. So that's our occupancy update. I wanted to also let you all know we do have a marketing event taking place next week on March 10th from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock here in the Fellowship Hall. That marketing event, the invitations went out to folks who have no history with us. So this was a purchase list of new people who have no prior connection to us. Our invitation to them was to come for a meal and some education on what CCRCs can provide, and more importantly, all of the amazing things about Cedar Field and why it should be the place that they choose to call home in the future. So that is going to be happening on the 10th. Please do know that we are expecting a large number of people. So we'll be utilizing a shuttle service for our team members, but traffic at in the parking for the front 2 lots may be a little tight in the morning and in the afternoon. And then once the event is over, we'll open those parking lots back up again. But I appreciate your patience. As all of you know, it's so important for us to make the building accessible to the people who are coming to get to know us for the first time. So I thank you so much for your patience as we block off those parking spaces for our guests. And again, we'll promptly open those areas back up as soon as we are able to. That's our marketing event. All right. So how many people in this room, by a show of hands, have heard a little rumor about a new internal transfer policy? Okay. I am not surprised, and welcome to the internal transfer process presentation. So we have had this new policy handed to us from the Pinnacle Living office. So I just want to go over all of the big pieces of information for all of you who are interested in knowing what the process would look like if you decided to make an internal transfer. So we'll start with maybe not. Oh, wait. Turn the remote on. Good idea. Thank you. There we go. What is an internal transfer? When we're talking about internal transfers here, we are talking about a single transfer from one independent living residence to another independent living residence. This has no bearing on your ability to move into a higher level of care, such as assisted living, nursing, or memory support. This is just within independent living. In most cases, we're talking about families who live in cottages who have decided to move into the main building, but it could also look the opposite, someone moving from an apartment to a cottage or one apartment to another apartment, all within independent living. And each resident is allowed one transfer during your time here at Cedarfield. One internal transfer, again, that is just within independent living. This does not have anything to do with your transferring from independent living to a higher level of care. This process goes very, very fast. So it's important for all of you to know that if you are thinking about making an internal transfer at some point, it's important for you to start that downsizing process sooner than you think, because the timeline from seeing a residence to moving into the residence is going to be a little less than a month of time. It's very fast. So we're going to talk through what that process actually looks like, starting with the residence being vacated, either again from someone who has passed away or someone who has moved to a higher level of care. Once that residence is vacated, I have 24 hours to contact anyone who's on the current internal transfer list about that vacancy and set up an open house where anyone interested in potentially making that internal transfer is invited to see that residence. They have 24 hours to decide whether they are interested in moving forward with the internal transfer. If you say yes, and you are at the top of the priority list, which we'll get to, how it's prioritized, once you have notified me of your interest, you will then have 48 hours, or 2 business days, to complete a financial assessment, which is similar to what you would have done when you moved to Cedarfield. You would complete the packet and then provide us with supporting documentation. All of that information gets bundled up and sent off to Amy and to David for their eyes, and then sent over to our CFO, Kevin, for approval, and Chris Henderson, our CEO, for approval. Once we have approval, we will sit down and have a meeting within 24 hours to sign a amendment to your contract. Basically, your current contract states, I am moving into this residence at Cedarfield. The amendment is saying, I know I signed that contract that said I was moving into this apartment, but now I'm living here. So you'll sign that modification, and then the modification agreement, and then the transfer. There's so many words. The transfer amendment You'll sign off on that, and then you'll also have a document from me that is stating the costs associated with making an internal transfer. And at the end of that signing, that is what triggers your 21-day timeline for us to do any kinds of changes to the apartment. At the end of those 21 days, you'll move into the new residence. That is a general overview of the timeline, and now we're gonna get a little bit more specific. So who's eligible for an internal transfer? Again, as I said in the first slide, you are only able to make one internal transfer within independent living. And so residents who have not made a previous internal transfer are eligible. You must meet our current financial and health qualifications for independent living. And you must be a current member of our internal transfer wait list, which at this point, there is a monetary deposit. So if you'll put down $1,000, fully refundable, to put yourself on the internal transfer wait list. Before there was no cost. Now, in order to receive updates about vacant apartments for an internal transfer opportunity, you must put down $1,000 in order to be placed on the internal transfer wait list. So that's one of the primary changes that we're seeing here. So the residence has been vacated. 24 hours later, I have set up an open house, and I have gotten in touch with each of the residents who are on that internal transfer wait list. And then again, you'll have 24 hours to communicate your interest in making the internal transfer with me. And the priority of the internal transfer wait list is no longer based on your original $1,000 deposit when you first met us here at Cedarfield. This list is now prioritized by when you joined the community. So it's based on your moving date. So the folks who have lived here longer are going to be higher up on the list than the folks who have been here for a shorter amount of time. Reminder again that once you have said, yes, I am interested in making this internal transfer, we will provide you with the financial application, and you will have 2 business days to complete the assessment and provide us with supporting documentation. We would go over the transfer form, which indicates the costs associated with the move. Again, we'll talk about that in a moment. And then again, once you have signed off on that contract amendment and the transfer form, we have 21 days to get the apartment ready or the cottage ready for move-in on that final day. This is another important piece of information from this new policy. It's important for you to know that if you are making an internal transfer, you are taking the residence that you're moving into as is, with the exception of fresh paint and flooring if necessary. When we talk about being good stewards of the money that is coming into this community, we all have to remember that we pay a big entrance fee when we first move to Cedarfield, and a portion of that is used towards the renovations. When you are making an internal transfer, what they're charging you is 1% of the entrance fee that you are for what you're moving into. We'll go over that in a moment. Typically, that's somewhere between $4,000 and $7,000, which is covering paint and flooring if necessary. So that's why you're taking the apartment as is. Now, you can modify your residence if you'd like to. Those would be at your own expense. And if those modifications delay your occupancy beyond the 21 days that have been allotted, you will then be charged for both the residence that you are moving from and the residence that you are moving to. So let's talk about the costs as a whole. We start with the $1,000 refundable deposit to join the wait list. and we are paying a relocation fee of 1% of the entrance fee for what you're moving into. Entrance fees. If you are moving into a residence that is larger, square footage larger than what you are currently in, you will be charged the difference in the current entrance fees. If you are moving into something smaller, there is no refund owed. And our monthly fee, of course, will adjust upon closing. So if you're moving into something smaller, whatever you're moving into, you'll now adopt that new monthly fee based on the apartment that you, or cottage that you've moved into. Another very important piece to this policy is the timing. If you make an internal transfer within independent living, and within 18 months of making that transition, you need to make another transition into a higher level of care. When you move to that higher level of care, your monthly fee is going to adjust to the higher amount of either the previous residence or the newest one. So for example, let's say that someone is moving from the medium-sized cottage into a 1,200 square foot, 2-bedroom apartment. They were in something larger, maybe they were paying $7,000 there, now they're paying $4,000. But if they move to health services within 18 months of moving into that smaller 2-bedroom apartment, their monthly fee will go back to the cottage price when they move to healthcare. So, the big question, I'll take questions in just a second. Should I join the internal transfer list? If you are ready to make a move within a few months of joining, because that's the possible timeline, if you have not made a previous internal transfer and you do meet the current health and financial requirements, then yes, you'll want to put down $1,000 refundable, and that, again, would put you on the internal transfer list. If you are not prepared to make the move, but you're curious and you want to see the available residences at Cedarfield, that is not a reason to join the internal transfer list. Our goal is to make this list as authentic as possible, that's made up of people who are actively waiting to make a transition within independent living. So the goal is not for you to join in anticipation of a move 3 years from now. You'll join that wait list when you are ready to say yes when a residence becomes available for you to consider. Key takeaways. We have the $1,000 refundable deposit to join the wait list. Another fee associated with a transition would be the relocation fee, which is 1% of the entrance fee for what you're moving into. The wait list for an internal transfer is prioritized on our move-in date to the community. We have 21 days to prepare for the move. Renovations include paint and flooring if needed. And then again, if you are to transfer to health services within 18 months of making the internal transfer, that will result in a monthly fee adjustment to whichever residence was the higher price. And that is the new internal transfer policy.
Are there any questions? There's one back here.
So what's the remedy for the resident if Cedarfield doesn't have it ready in 21 days?
If there is a delay because of, let's say that we can't get all of the flooring in within those 21 days, then you would receive a notification we would be adding time to that, and then you would have 7 additional days to transition into the new apartment.
And if it's more than 7 days?
We would be working with you on that. If it's something that if it's a delay because of product, then of course you would not be penalized for for the time that you can't get in there. However, sorry, just to clarify, however, if it is something outside of paint and flooring, so let's say, for example, you wanted to open up a kitchen or you wanted to retile a bathroom, if that goes beyond the 21 days, then you would be subject to the price of the apartment, because you're technically occupying those 2 spaces, you would be paying for those 2 spaces. Lauren, I think Denise had a question.
I'm not sure that I understand if you transfer to health services that you'd go back to the higher amount. But isn't there a fee for being in healthcare that's a lot more than that?
If you're under preferred choice, yes. What this is, and I should clarify,
that makes better sense.
This is for the life care contract. Any other questions? And while Don is getting the microphone, if you do want to speak about your own situation or to have any of your own questions answered, please just call Maria to schedule a time to meet with me. Again, this is a lot of new information, and I'm here to make sure that we all feel like we understand what's going on. So if you do want to set up an appointment with me, please do so by contacting Maria, or you can contact me directly. I'm ready, Don.
This goes back to your previous about new residents. I would like to announce that we have a new resident next door to us in the lane.
Yes. Philip and Kay Davidson.
Moved in last Friday.
Yes, they did. 2182. Thank you, Don. Okay. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lauren Burnett, the Assisted Living Administrator here at Cedarfield, and I am here today to introduce to you one of Cedarfield's newest team members, Michelle McNaughton, standing right next to me, and she is our Healthcare Admissions Coordinator. So she's a registered nurse who primarily will be responsible for anyone moving into the Poppy Place Medicare household. So what this means for you is anyone going out to the hospital for a planned hospitalization or unplanned, anyone at Cedarfield in all levels of care, Michelle will be the individual who is working with the case manager at the hospitals to help make it a smooth transition back to Cedarfield, whether it be back home, to Poppy Place, wherever the need is. She'll be the primary contact with the hospital and helping with that coordination. If you're looking for her office location, if you enter in Healthcare's main entrance and take a left, one of those office suites, she's immediately inside, and her name's kind of posted right on the wall so you can't miss it if you want to stop by and say hello. So help us in welcoming Michelle to Cedarfield. Thank you all.
Lauren is so much taller than I am. Kelly Black, the Associate Executive Director. I'll be speaking on facilities and management topics today. I have an exciting announcement. We have made an offer and the candidate accepted for our Director of Maintenance and Engineering position. We are currently working through completion of her background check and drug screening, as well as her reference check. So I can't share too many details at this time, but can share that she has over 20 years of experience in facilities management, including at 2 similarly sized CCRCs in Northern Virginia. So she comes with great experience. I really like her energy and think that she'll be a great fit for the team as well as our community here of residents. We will be sharing an announcement memo closer to her start date, which we expect to be Monday, April 13th. So we have a couple weeks to get everything in order for her. I also have an announcement about Comcast. I'm aware that we've been having some challenges here with cable and Wi-Fi across the community. Starting this month, we will begin upgrades to the Comcast Xfinity equipment on campus. More details will be shared shortly, so please be on the lookout for 2 memos. The first is a memo coming from administration, and the second will be a letter mailed to you from Comcast Xfinity. This will detail everything that you need to know and what to expect during this upgrade. I will say upgrades to both cable and Wi-Fi are expected to happen simultaneously and will come at no cost to you. If you have any questions about that, I'm available after this meeting. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm David from the business office. I'm going to give you a quick update on the budget process. So we're pleased to share our annual budget process is nearing completion. We will be presenting our first pass of the budget to the Home Office next week, which is a significant milestone in our planning process for the year ahead. We'd like to take this opportunity to extend our sincere gratitude to each of you, our residents, who, as well as our dedicated team members, for your thoughtful input and feedback you provided throughout the process. Your perspectives are invaluable and play an important role in shaping the budget that reflects the needs and priorities of Cedarfield. We'll keep you informed of the budget process, and thank you again for your input into the fiscal year 27 budget, which begins in June. Thank you, everyone.
I was going to say a man who needs no introduction, Neil Stoyer from Dining.
A hardworking man. Oh, I need my bag there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. That was good. I need a prop. Neil Stoyer, Director of Dining. Thank you all for being here. Wanted to go over, gosh, this place, you know, it's winter out. Is it winter still? Is it spring still? It doesn't matter. You're going to have fun. Steve and company, Chef and company, have a whole calendar list, and I know trying to get a hold of residents around here, I mean, how did you all find time to have a career? I've talked to 4 residents this week. It's like, I need to see you. I'd like to help you out, but I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm in a meeting there, and it's all that. Please call my assistant, and I'll let you know. We got St. Patrick's Day coming up, Wine Explorers. Baseball season opening day. We thought, well, let's go to the ball game. Go Brewers. Okay, and Yankees. Yeah, we got that coming up on the 25th. Next month, we got Easter, Titanic Remembrance Day. That's coming up on April 15th. Who has a tuxedo and a life preserver? That's, and women first in the, just remember that. Women and children first. Always. All right, we got a spring celebration. We got Chef's Night Out again. And listen, people, I'm just going to get serious for half a minute here. Vote for me. Toast. I'm not sure. I might have to do a special surprise, but, you know, coming in dead last, I feel like Jack Benny trying to get an Oscar. All right, so we got Garden Day in May, Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, more Wine Explorers, Memorial Day. We are talking about, and it was done at one time. Amy, can you confirm this? We dug a pit in the ground. and had a roast pig. And I'm going, why not? Because I keep my backhoe outside of my office. And I just want you all to know that stop by anytime to talk. I've been discussing things with residents about some of their needs and other things too. And we consider this, like you do, your home, and your needs need to be met. So stop by anytime. Okay, now our fun subject, talking about polystyrene. And thanks again, Betsy, for the bag here. All right, styrofoam containers. We've all seen these. We all use them. Our entire life we have used them, right? So these go away by July 1st for us this year. We hope to do it a lot sooner. The dining committee, a subcommittee of the dining committee and a couple others are helping out with the process that we're going to do. The goal is to not only get rid of styrofoam, but also to make sure that the food that you have comes out just as well, and that costs are considered. Because when it comes to different containers that we have, if you have something like this that is made compostable or out of plastic or something, the cost easily doubles. And that's the challenge. So a big initiative that we're going to do, and everybody has seen these containers, right? This is a great company called Ozzi, O-Z-Z-I, and I have not, since I've been here, going on 3 years now, I have not purchased any of these because it is a solid product. And if we use these containers, if you use it 40 times, guess what it pays for? You use it 80 times, and you're making, well, I don't know if you're making money, but the thing about it is we have plastic bags. So everybody who has takeout meals here, they know. They get a bag full of stuff, and then what do you do with it? I mean, anything that is styrofoam or in a plastic cup or something is considered single use, and it goes directly to the landfill, right? So working out a program that is convenient to you, where you will you will have your own shopping bag, and you will have these containers that you will need to return in a couple different locations to make it convenient for you, will help the environment, will it'll be doing the right thing. Anybody want to guess how many takeout meals in a rolling calendar year? I just checked, up in main dining and down in cafe, March 1 to March 1. Anybody take a guess? Helen, what's your guess? You're wrong. It's 66,744 takeout meals. Now, if you do that in multiples of disposable items, because we're doing portion cups, we're doing side salads, we're doing dessert containers, we're doing all that. So each bag could have up to 8 different containers. So Helen takes 66,744 and times that by 8. So it's a lot. And we know that we don't feel good when we're tossing something in the trash and know it's going to wind up in that landfill. I'll be around afterwards for any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you to the residents who will be serving on that task force to evaluate the products that we're looking at. Neil, interesting, I was only 2 off from that 66,741. Katrin.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to give a lifestyles and wellness update. Pictorial directory. So we are currently taking photos. We had our first session for independent living yesterday, and then we have another one tomorrow from 9 to 12. So I know that many of you are signed up, but in the event you would like a new photo, just please come between 9 and 12. I want to say a big thank you to Fred Beck and Rose Studer. They have been helping me with this project. Ro helps me with the editing, and Fred helps me with all the photos. So our next step after this will be going into the different households and assisting them, getting that information. If anyone wants an updated photo, we'll be going through that process. So just an update there. Our goal is to still get it out by the end of spring. So just look on channel 974 for updates when those will be available. Next thing, I just wanted to update you on signatours. So we are approaching about a year of partnering with them for different day trips as well as overnight experiences. So for the ones that we've had recently, we have 7 residents going to Lancaster to see the Joshua performance, and then 8 residents going to Cape May in May. Yes, Cape May in May. And then we have 2 day trips that we've been offering, and both of those are now to the capacity that we need them to go to run. So that is exciting. So we'll be going to Washington, D.C. to see the cherry blossoms at the end of the month, and then the Virginia International Tattoo in April. Okay. Last thing I just wanted to update you all on, we hit a record of how many registration forms were turned in March. We had 197 forms. That is fantastic. Our other one was 191, so we are so close to 200. With that being said, that means that the wait lists get longer the more people that sign up for things. So I just wanted to remind everyone of our cancellation policy. We've been seeing a lot of no-shows on some trips and programs. So just make sure that you're canceling if you're unable to go. You can go to the binder in the in-house mailroom and cross your name off, or you can call me or email me to let me know that you can't attend the event. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Katrin. I have a few announcements to share with the group. The first one has to do with cellular service and wiring. How many of you have had trouble using a cell phone in this building? I knew it, everybody in this room. We have just approved a major capital expense that will help with rewiring the building so that hopefully by early summer, our connections and our wireless access to cell phones will be much improved. And I'm excited for that. I often have to go outside to get a call, especially if I'm down on the first floor by A-Wing, so I'm sure that some of you are experiencing that as well. So once that process starts and we start having the, installations happening, we'll make sure that we announce that on channel 974 so that you know what's happening. But I thought that would be some good news for everybody. The second thing on my list, which is also good news, is that this weekend, this is just a reminder, we have the time change. So it will be light a little bit later, and hopefully we'll have more people outside walking and experiencing our beautiful campus, but just wanted to make sure that everyone had that on their calendar. We still have a few spots available for our pilot program with Simple Community. That is a program that Chris Henderson highlighted a little bit about 2 weeks ago when he was here, that puts together a virtual vial of life or a computerized vial of life. So if you're interested, please come by and add your name to the list. By putting your name on the list, you're not completely committed. We will have that company come out and give you more details of how it works, and you could change your mind if you want to. But I wouldn't want you to miss that opportunity if it's something you'd like to learn a little bit more about. And lastly, wanted to share with the group that we have heard from our sister community in Roanoke that there are a lot of COVID cases at that community right now, and also from friends in the Roanoke area. So suggestion, I know that we hopefully have COVID and that the widespread infections that we had in years past behind us. But please be diligent if you have any kind of cold or cough or seasonal allergy type symptoms, that you let someone know when you get tested, because what we have heard from our friends in Roanoke is that this COVID outbreak has lots of the similar signs and symptoms that we had with the original bout. So coughs and congestion and headaches and fever. Fortunately for us, our last year or so with COVID, especially in this building, a lot of our residents were asymptomatic and didn't have any of those symptoms. But this round is a little bit different. So let's try to stay diligent with that and wash our hands. And if you're not feeling well, please let someone know so that we can make sure that you're okay. Thank you. Before I say goodbye, I will announce that our new president of the Resident Council is here, and she will give a report. Are you prepared to do that? Terrific. Come on up, Ms. Horowitz.
Neil, I've only been 4 days. Maybe by next week or next month, I can do the math quicker. But what I do want to say is, it's so nice that we have a system of continuity. And so I've only been in for 4 days, but things have continued to go on. Meetings have gone on, and I want to tell you that our welcoming committee under Virginia Hickey and the ambassadors have already talked to new people coming in. And I would like to suggest that all of us become ambassadors. There are people who have been here maybe as long as I have, 2 years, who still need to know how to get around the corner or to do something. And if we're all ambassadors and see somebody looking quizzical and stop and meet them, we may be making new friends, which would be really good. And I want you to know we're also, before the next resident council meeting, we are meeting with the new and continuing leadership to keep things on the same level so everybody's speaking the same language. And I look forward to seeing you at the next council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. For those of you who are curious, it's still 4-0. The Yankees are still winning. And on that note, I hope you have a lovely afternoon. Thanks for joining us.